Hello and welcome. So far we've been learning about a lot of fundamental skills and how programming works, but today we're going to do an actual proper application of those skills by making our very own game, Pong. So what is Pong? Pong is a simple two-player computer game that was based on table tennis. Fun fact, Pong was made in 1972 by the video game company Atari. Using our programming skills, today we're going to be making Pong. So what do we need to make Pong? We need 1 or 2 players to control, a ball, and a way to score and keep track of score. Let's jump into Scratch and see if we can do that. First, we're going to start with our first player here, player on the left. We're going to want code to execute when we hit the green flag. So we're going to want the when green flag clicked block, and then we're going to want it to be centered in the screen so it's not like over here or here. We want to start in a specific spot each time for consistency. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a go to block. And we're going to say go to -110, -55. Oop. And now when we hit that, it's going to center itself in the screen. So no matter where it is, it'll go back there. Then we're going to need movement. So we're going to want to go to the events section and grab when key pressed. We're going to want one for W for upwards motion and S for downwards motion. So what do we want to happen when we hit W? We want our guy to move up. A very simple way to do this is just say change Y by, let's say 25. Now if we hit W, it'll move up. But now we can't have him go down, so we need the opposite one for S, change Y by -25. But this movement feels really clunky, and I personally don't like it. So one thing you can do to try to make it a little smoother is you can say glide. You can use this glide block and say glide 0.1 seconds. Oh, wrong glide block. Glide. Oop, whoa, whoa. Glide 0.1 seconds to -110 because we don't want to change in the X direction. And then we're going to grab this plus block. And we're going to say Y position plus 25. Now, every time you hit up, it'll move 25 instantly, but it feels a little smoother because you have the additional gliding on top of that. Then we're going to just copy the same thing for the -1, but with -25. Now we have movement for our left guy. Now we want to make a second player. This code is going to look really similar, with just a couple of differences to deal with it being on the right. For one, we're going to change the go-to to be 320, -55, so it's centered on the right. Then, rather than using the W key and the S key, we're going to use the up arrow and the down arrow. Aside from that, we're just going to want this exact same piece of code. How'd you get there? Oh, so you have to be careful when you do what I just did and make sure you adjust all of the numbers properly. So now we have our 2 little paddles that we can move independently of each other for our 2 players. Oop, forgot to hide that. Next up, we're going to want to do the ball, which is going to be majority of the game's logic. So we're going to start with just a when green flag clicked. We're going to just say when green flag clicked, the ball should go to 300, 0. That way, sorry, not 300, 0, 150. No, 133, 0. That way it starts nice in the middle. We can do 133, -55 even. That will be a little more centered. Oh, no, that isn't. Whoops. -30. There you go. Now it's nice and centered. And then we're going to say point in direction, -45. That way it moves on like these angles. And we're going to grab a forever block and say forever move 15 steps. If on edge, bounce so that it doesn't just clip through the wall and bounces. And then just to make sure it works, we're gonna say set rotation style to don't rotate. Now it'll just be bouncing around the screen, which is what we want. But as you can see, the score thing isn't changing, and we want you to be able to win and score points. So we're going to stop that, and we're going to add scoring. So you're going to want to make two variables. I already have them, but you're going to want to make a player 2 variable and a player 1 variable. At the start of the game, we just want to set both of these to 0 so that everyone's points are reset. Then we're going to grab another forever block. We're going to grab this if so that we can get some conditionals. And we're going to say if touching button 3, which is this left side right here. We're going to, just for fun, we're going to make it play a little sound. It's going to go back to the middle, so go to 133, negative 30. And we're going to change player 2's score by 1, because if it hits the left side, that means player 2 got a point. Now we can test this, and you can see that every time it hits the left wall, player 2 gets a point. Then we're going to want this exact same thing, but switch to be button 2, and increase player 1's score. So now, both sides can score. But we want someone to be able to win, so there needs to be like an end condition. So we're going to want to grab another conditional, another if, and we're going to check if player 1 is equal to 9. So if the score of player 1 is equal to 9, we're going to want to say join player 1. Oh, we don't need to join, sorry. We just want to say player 1 wins. Now so that the game stops, we're just going to say, we're going to go grab stop. Oh, not this one. Is it this one? Stop other scripts and spray. Sorry, yeah. So this stop. Then we're going to want it to go to the middle. Once again, we're going to want to copy this for player 2. Just saying player 2 wins. Now, if either side gets to 9 points, which is going to eventually happen, the game is going to stop and it's going to say player 1 wins. Okay, now as you can see here, the ball would just go through the path, so we need to add collision. So one more when green flag clicked. We're going to take this forever block once again, and once again another if, and say if we're going to want it this and block, and we're going to go to sensing. We're going to say touching player, and then we're gonna want an equals, and we're gonna want to grab, this is probably the most confusing part, we're gonna want to grab direction. Direction equals negative 45. We're gonna want to have it turn right 90 degrees and play a little sound pop. Just because it's fun. Then we're going to want to copy this, and we're going to say if the direction is negative 135. we're gonna have it turn the other way 90 degrees, or also just negative 90 degrees. And then we're gonna want to copy both of these, but just for the opponent. Except we're gonna want these to just be 45 and 135. So I know that's a little confusing, but it will handle the logic of collisions and send the ball the right way, letting our our Pong game work. As you can see, both collisions work, and if either player gets to 9 points, then that player will, wait for it, win. And you see, we need 5 sprites, and just not too much code, but a couple big blocks of code, we can make our very own game of Pong. Thanks for watching our tutorial on how to make Pong in Scratch. Good luck in your future coding projects.